everybody, and welcome to Damsels After Dark. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Crystal.
And we will be reviewing this book name, and I always forget it. Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal of Being in Love.
Yeah, she did it!
Oh my god. This is this self-care? Not a question, that is the title, or the author.
The answer is yes to the question. Hermione is always self-care.
Yeah, so this is our third fanfiction in the Hermione world, and we're really happy to bring this one to you as well because it's actually is one of a Crystal's pick, but it's actually a favorite of mine as well now. I didn't think I was going to like it because it is a rom-com type thing, but
yeah, she was coming to me with critiques, and I was like, Kristen, just read it, please, and then come to me.
Yes, because right off the bat it tells you it's not canon. So I was like, Crystal, this isn't canon. I'm going to accept it though. That was like my first thing. I was like, Crystal, I'm going to accept it. Don't worry. But it is not canon at all. No canon whatsoever. Like, people are alive in this book that weren't supposed to be alive. So just FYI, not canon, but a very good read.
And also, I think the first review, star-wise, that you gave me was a little low. And I was like...
Yeah, it was pretty low.
I think you've upped it. I don't know what it is yet.
Yes.
Because I haven't looked at the notes.
Yeah, it was pretty low.
I was like... Okay.
I was giving it like a 2.5, 3 in the beginning, and she was just like, keep reading.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it is not either one of our regular reads because I think rom-coms are really cheesy, I'm not gonna lie. And I see them all over TikTok, like the girlies love them, and I can't get into them. But this one, I don't know what it is. This one is just,
it's good.
It's so sweet. It's like a piece of chocolate cake on a cloudy day. Yeah. It just makes, like, it's so cheesy, but it's so good.
But it actually does still have Draco being his toxic self. Very small though, very small mouth because now he's older. So FYI, you still see that Draco toxicity show through every now and then, but he's more, as we would say, a refined Draco. So I like that, and I like that they're older. They are older.
It is so much sexier that he's like 35, and I can kind
that.
Like unrestricted over him. Like, ooh, ooh, I like a grown man.
I do too. And so their trauma in this one isn't so. It's not so palpable. It's actually like in the past. So that's why it's a little bit more lighthearted, and it's got that good feel to it. They do bring up their trauma every now and then. It is still a thing that they talk about, but it's not inhibiting them from being the person that they should be in their positive grown self.
Yes.
So it's a good read. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but just a little bit note that our glasses are nods to the book. It's not a big spoiler, but it is something that they do that is hilarious.
Yeah, they wear them.
Yeah, it's so funny.
And we just happen to have these. I was like, Kristen, find your glasses. These are our daughter's glasses. Like, go rescue them from the room, and we will wear them for this episode because why do they fit so perfect?
He had fingerprints all over them.
Same.
I still have some scratches, but now I think I want to keep them now.
I thought the same. I was like, damn, look, I'm looking cute.
She is.
Summer glasses.
She is. She came out of the bathroom sauntering, and I was just like, it took my breath away. I was like, why are you looking so cute?
Well, I'm gonna dress up for Draco.
Yeah, she is. I'm just saying, I would have took her.
That's so funny. But anyway, so yes, I would also say this is a great summer read.
It is like a good summer read.
The glasses, the earrings, like, it's just the vibe of summer. It spans a couple months, like maybe a year, full, honestly. But,
yeah, from beginning to end, I would say a year.
But maybe. It is a summer read. It's that lighthearted rom-com.
I would definitely read this again.
Yes.
That doesn't say much because I will reread lots of books that give me any kind of feel for that. Like you said, summer, this is definitely, I will probably read this every summer now.
Yeah. It is a quintessential summer book.
Yes.
It's great. I can't wait for us to jump into it. It is a must-read for Hermione.
Yeah.
Like, if you are in this world, you have to read this book, which it's a classic within this realm. Everybody always recommends this book, which is why it was on my list to begin with in the first place. But what do you say we jump into it?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
So I think I read this one like a good distance away from Manacled.
Yeah.
I would say we recommended Breath Mints and Battle Scars last time to read before Manacled. I would also say if you're not into super deep, super depressive stories or like a really toxic Draco, this is a great read. This is a happy-go-lucky, fun version of Draco, which still harnesses the essence of him.
Yeah.
Because even though he's not quite as cruel, he is also still very cruel in some of the things he does. Like, he's still killing people.
Yeah, and he's fed up. He uses the ministry, though, as a way to conduct his
murders.
Yeah, his murders, his, like, just the things that he likes to do. Now he's doing it legally.
Yes. He toes the line, certainly.
Yes, he knew what to do.
But so, just to give a brief summary of this one is, of course, they're older. They're both established in their roles in their careers. So, of course, it's Hermione and Draco. So, Hermione is this big-time SWAT. Swoot, what he calls her.
Aurora? I can never say that. He's Aurora, and he works with Tonks, who is alive in this book. That's his boss, and he works with Ron, he works with Harry. He works with all the people that he used to go to school with. Not all of them, but you know what I mean. Just he works with people he used to go to school with, and now they're like kind of co-worker friends, which is hilarious to me.
I love the dynamic there.
Yes, so like there is no hatred towards each other. You just get that coworker like, oh my god, these fuckers, you know, that type of feel.
And the very much reminiscent of their childhood days.
Yes.
Like, he still views them sort of in the same light as like they're bumbling idiots. They don't know what they're doing, like all of that. And Hermione too is like a healer,
like a medical researcher.
Yeah. She works at St. Mungo's. She works as an actual Muggle doctor as well, and I think she does Muggle research work as well. She does everything. If it's scientific research and medicine, she's there at the forefront too. So they're both well established in their career, but Hermione is on the cusp of developing something revolutionary in the wizarding world,
and it's kept top secret. Nobody knows about it except for like one person, and he's held I don't say held hostage to the secret, but he kind of is. He's got that bond. That bond.
The vow of secrecy.
Yeah, thank you.
So it is Shacklebolt. She tells Shacklebolt, because he's like the head of her thing. So she reveals what it is, and he freaks out and basically says that if anybody hears about this, her life will be in jeopardy, therefore her research would be in jeopardy. So he reaches out to the Aurors, whatever, and basically says like she needs an assigned protector there to follow her around and chaperone her while she conducts her research, and she does not agree with this whatsoever.
No, and the person they choose, of course,
is Draco.
Well,
to be fair, they gave him options.
They gave him two options: to protect. I was going to say that. Protect Hermione.
Maybe.
Protect Hermione. Or troll porn.
Troll porn, yeah. Some troll was doing some nasty, naughty stuff.
Yeah, so.
And he's like, well, I'll be a babysitter for a while. And then, of course, he's shocked to find out that it's Hermione. They do some letters back and forth about, like, this is preposterous, I don't need your help. And he's like, yeah, well, let's talk about it. And come to find out that, yeah, they do need help. But he does some work, essentially, to, like, make it so that they can have a working relationship where he doesn't need to babysit her. But she is doing things to fulfill her research that requires her to go out and do some things,
and it becomes dangerous.
And then he has to now like babysit her fully. And that's essentially the book.
Yeah, and there's times where you would think that Draco's all, borderline doing things illegally, but you come to find out, Hermione's kind of tipping the scales there, doing some crazy ass shit. So they get into adventures along the way, hence the glasses. They do a little, like, I don't know, pretend to be different people for a little bit to be able to get into certain areas. So, yeah, there's a lot of adventure, there's a lot of back and forth, there is a story there. And it's really cool because they're both trying to not show that connection with each other. Very similar to all Hermione fanfictions, but it's so crazy because this is a Draco, obviously Draco's like in the title. It's his POV.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And it's wonderful because usually it's Hermione's POV.
Yes.
This is Draco's POV, and I never thought I would want a rom-com POV from Draco, but I was loving it. I was loving it.
And I will say, out of all of the Hermiones that I've read, and of course, as Kristen said, like they never want to admit their feelings, but this one felt the most authentic because they were adults, and it was like. This couldn't possibly be happening. They couldn't possibly have developed feelings for each other. So from both of their points of view, it was like, absolutely not. No, and I think also from Hermione, like, no, he doesn't like me. Like, that doesn't make sense that he would like me, and so she's more closed off, but I like it from his point of view, but seeing him deal with understanding his feelings, the mortifying ordeal that he's dealing with understanding his feelings.
You don't want to be alone. And that's the thing too, is they're trying to work. Like, they're busy. They're really busy in their jobs, and they're really trying to focus on what they're supposed to do. And of course, he's protecting her, so like they can't have feelings because that's inappropriate. You know, it's his job to protect her, and he can't.
And they're both professionals.
Yeah, they're professionals. Professional like teases.
Professional flirts.
Yeah, they're gonna be good at it. But yeah, so just throwing it out there, what my overall rating is, I gave it a 4. Way higher than what I was previously telling Crystal in the beginning when I first started reading. The reason why I'm giving it a 4 is because I don't want to take it away because it's canon. That didn't really actually bother me too much. I was like, whatever. It's a lighthearted fan fiction. It's not going to have canon in it. But the reason why I gave it a 4 is because sometimes I was just like, God damn it. Like, it was like Draco would see her, and then Draco wouldn't see her. And this is a story about them too. So it was like, it was way more of that tension than I like. You love that tension.
I do. And so does the author.
Yes, and she says that.
She says
and it drove me fucking crazy. So yes, if you like that, you're gonna love this. And that is the one thing I don't like. And so I don't know if it's fair to me to take that point away, but it was so frustrating to me that it was more so, I was ready for that tension, but I was not ready for it to this degree.
Because it's the whole, and the book is long, and it's the whole book.
It's the whole book.
Until maybe like the last 80% is when they're coming to terms
it
with
drove
shit.
Me fucking nuts.
But they still don't end it until like the last couple pages.
You're seriously going through this tension, this sexual tension, the whole book, and it was giving me sexual tension. Like, I was having too much of it. I was like, I can't bring this. I need smut now. I'm just gonna go to a fucking smut book. Like, this is too much. I don't mind it. I was too much. But it was really good. But every time I thought they were going to do it, it was a lie. They lied to me. Whoever lied to me, the other lied to me. So she didn't really. He didn't really. Whatever. They didn't really lie. They said what they said. It is a slow burn. It is the slowest burn. Like, you could have lit this match, and you would have been looking at it like, why is it still on fire? This shit should have been out days ago. It was burning.
It's like the Hanukkah candle.
Yeah, it extended. Like, if my electricity ever burned out, I would hope that's the candle. The slow ass burn. It was.
That's a good gift, actually. To a poor wife or gift.
Yeah.
It never ends.
It didn't end for me at all. So yeah, that's why I took it a point, because I think it was way more of a slow burn. I mean, I guess that's a positive because that's what they said it was supposed to be, but I had to take it away because it drove me down.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But other than that, I would have given it 5 stars. But
and your smut?
The smut. What did I put it in? Oh, I think I gave it a 2 out of 5 because there wasn't a whole lot of smut.
Yeah, and it's not very graphic.
No, it's not very graphic. It's
very sweet.
It's very sweet. It's the very end of the book, like. And the reason why I gave it 2 is because it was fine. It was not bad. There was not a whole lot of it. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say about it.
I gave it a 5. I fucking love this book. More so than I ever thought I'd like it, ever. I didn't think it would make me laugh as much as it made me laugh, but Draco is so fucking funny.
Yeah, he is.
And it's like, he's this prestigious aristocrat who's like badass at his job, and he is just wrestling deer in the mud for no reason. He's like getting elbowed. He's apparating into people. People are apparating into him. It's just like the funniest fucking situations that he's put in over and over and over again are hilarious. There were times I was straight laughing out loud at this book. I loved it. I also love the slow burn. Like, the author had said that she has a kink for, and she like acronymed it, and I don't know what it is, and didn't realize this was a kink, but apparently I am also in this group because the slow burn is my creme de la creme. I love a slow burn. That right next to funny sexual encounters, which this book also had in there. So
tons of it.
All across the board, I absolutely love this book. The story is good too. I mean, again, it's one of these books where the main focus is Draco and Hermione, and then you build the plot around it, but the plot could stand on its own, and often had to, because the only other aspect was the sexual tension. So it was plot and sexual tension.
Yeah.
So it was good, and obviously I'm not into the Harry Potter world only through Hermione. Am I in the Harry Potter world?
Yeah.
So the going away from canon, I have no idea. I knew like Tonks wasn't supposed to be alive, but also like I liked her character in this, so.
Yeah, there was a lot of people alive in this book. I don't think anybody died. If you're going off canon, it's like nobody died in canon.
Yeah.
And like I said, who cares? As long as the author straightforward tells you, like, this isn't canon. This is a slow burn, even though I pointed her for that. You know, I can't really hate that because it tells you right off the beginning.
Yeah.
And you know, being that it wasn't even close to canon, it didn't matter that people were alive. I think the author even notes that yes, there's people alive, and they're not. She's throwing names in this book not for the sake of the people, but for the sake of throwing names in the book. Like, for instance, Tonks being the main head person to the Aurors. I don't think it would have mattered. She could have pretty much picked anybody.
Yeah.
She could have done, I don't know, any teacher.
It's like she picked her favorite characters. Like she liked Tonks a lot, so she wanted to put Tonks in.
And
or
it didn't matter.
He, whoever, they picked Tonks, and liked them a lot. I loved it. Like, and I think Kristen was right with the score for the spice. I thought the spice was really good when it happened. Wasn't overdone. It wasn't overly detailed. It was, the spice itself was a slow burn.
Yes.
Like I think there's 2 scenes.
Maybe there's the sexual tension. So you have to splice the sexual tension from the actual spice.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was probably 2 scenes, maybe 3.
And they're pretty quick.
They're so quick.
And they're sweet. Like, it's not raunchy.
No.
This whole book is just like a lollipop, and all the sweets and chocolates and candies and cupcakes you could want. This is the book. I really, really, really enjoyed this version of Draco. I love a toxic, angry villain Draco. Give me that all day long. But it's nice to also see a universe where he wasn't so fucked up at the end of something, where he wasn't like dying and sacrificing himself. Like, it was refreshing to see this after reading all of these super dark, horrible, tortured Dracos. It's nice to have a version that's like, oh, okay, so here's a parallel universe in which he is.
Happy ending.
Yeah, he's more stable, and I like that for him.
I feel like this gives, because there's not a whole lot of magic. I mean, that's not right for me to say there's not a whole lot of magic, but there is at certain parts. It's like there's magic and then there's not. The magic didn't really emphasize a lot in this book. It was just like, it was bits and pieces. However, this could easily be real world.
Yes.
Like this, if Draco were in real world, this is Draco real world.
Yes.
That's how I equated it to. Even though there was magic, there is a lot of Harry Potter stuff in it, like Wizarding World stuff, I should say. Yeah, this is like a real world Draco and a real world Hermione. At some points, there's sometimes it's just like, okay, there's magic in here.
Yeah,
like
because they're like bouncing around.
Yeah, doing stuff. Things.
Yeah.
But this gives me real world vibes.
I agree. I will also say one other thing that I really liked about it for some reason was his relationship with his mom, because it really hones in this like aristocratic society role that he has to play that he fucking hates, and he's too old for at this point. Like, you know, dealing with the things like his mom setting him up on dates or bombarding him for luncheon so that he could meet his wife. Like, that whole dynamic I really liked. It was great. So all around 5, 4. But just great. A must read for your Hermione girlies out there.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Boys.
Yeah. If you're into it, you're into it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, whoever you are.
Yeah, as long as you just kind of understand canon. Like, if you're in this for a Harry Potter world, no, it's not canon, and don't take away from that, and just dive into the world and accept it for what it is. Except for Slowburn. If you're not a Slowburn, obviously, it's okay. I understand.
And don't be put off by the fact that it's a rom-com. Like, if that's generally not your thing, I think you might like this. If you like Hermione and Draco, I think that you're gonna like
this. Because I'm not I like rom-com movies. I do not like rom-com books. But I feel like this was a rom-com movie. Yeah.
Because it feels like rom-com books are so cheesy and so like you could just see through them.
I do not get cheesy vibes.
No,
this is not cheesy.
Funny and sweet.
So and like. There's this movie, I can't remember the name of the movie. I'll have to look it up and tell you which one it is later. But there's a rom-com movie that I really, really, really like, where she goes to Ireland to propose to her boyfriend, and she gets stranded.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it gave me that vibe.
Yes. I can see that.
Because they were going back and forth. Because there's that push and pull in this too. They don't like each other, but they like each other. Don't like each other, but they're falling in love. And so that even though it's completely different storyline, their interaction with each other, that love, hate, push and pull, is very similar to that book.
Yes.
Or that movie, and so it gives me those kind of vibes. And I loved that movie.
I agree. Yeah, it was a good movie. So the final thing that I'll say too that I love about this book is the writing. The writing style is so good.
It is.
I don't think that I've read a book written quite this way, where because it almost is, it's almost like third person, because it's talking outside of him, sort of like Draco did not stare at her bum while she walked by. Like, I ate this up. I love this whole thing, and it put such a personality onto him that was just perfection. So
I think you're right. Like, if it weren't for this writing style, I feel like I wouldn't have liked this book. The writing style just really made me feel like it wasn't a rom-com, but it was. It kind of masked that for me.
it was like a sophisticated, cheeky rom-com.
Yeah.
Like, it was so good. I don't know.
Cheeky.
This writer was superb in the construction, or the writing was superb in its construction. I liked it. Great. 5, 4, 2 for smut.
Yeah.
But not saying it's bad smut. It was just not
there.
Not there.
It was like you said, end of the book.
Yeah, and not overly like detailed or whatever. But anyways, we can move on to our spoilers. I like that we have a soundtrack to it now.
We do our own.
Yeah. So Kristen, favorite part?
I could do that. Let me make sure I have it. Okay, so I got a lot. Holy bejesus. Let me narrow that. I got a lot.
That's great.
You think that I would have a lot, and it's like...
She gave it a 4, but she's got the whole book as her.
Like, holy goddamn. Okay, so let me go into this real quick. There's parts of illustrations. I probably should have said this before the spoilers, but there's illustrations in this book, which there was a lot of, but I didn't like all of them. But the ones that I did like, oh my god, they were super cute.
Yes.
But there are definitely a lot that I did not like. But I don't want to like...
I will say
beat anybody down or anything like that with the illustrators. So
the specific ones.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's some that I like, and then there's some that I did not. But
also the ones where they were just showing location or like what something was, like the informative ones.
Actual pictures.
Yeah, those were great.
Yeah, I thought it was so it really painted the picture. No pun intended. It really painted.
Did its job.
It did. It worked. It was fantastic. But yes, there's a few parts, small like little things, not like really instances, but like things that Draco said I liked. So I'm gonna probably narrow a lot of that out. But there's one thing in particular that Draco had said to Hermione about how he doesn't like to go to his mother's tea parties. It terrifies him, and she's like, "Well, I thought it would be a lot worse than a tea party
because he's running from."
Yeah, it's like he was like, I don't want to go home. I'm like afraid to be there or something like that. And she's just like, I thought it'd be something more formidable than a fucking tea party. But yeah, that was hilarious to me. And that joke is like a running joke throughout the book. Yes. The tea party joke. And then I really liked when they were at a party and Draco's like threw Harry towards Theo's direction, and he goes, I love Harry because all you gotta do is point him a direction and seek a mission on him, and he's all go go. Like pretty much is what he says.
And that scene is hilarious. So essentially, like, not does something, he like hits on Hermione or does something that like pisses Draco off. So to get him back, he like sticks Harry on him, saying like, I think he's here with ulterior motives against Hermione. And so the description of him like popping up next to him and like pots and shit was hilarious.
It wasn't. He was like, what is wrong? What is going on? Is there a reason for this? Am I
drunk? Did I hit? Because he's like hitting on a redhead. Is when he comes back, he's like, damn, am I drunk? Did I not know that I hit on his wife? Why is he following me around?
Draco's like, don't worry, I got you. And he's like, I'll take care of it. I'll get rid of him. And Hermione's like, you piece of shit, man. Like, you did this. And he's just like laughing. So that part, cracking up.
Yeah.
That was a funny ass part to me. Because I could just see Harry just popping up.
Just so silly too. Like comically between bushes.
And like, he was drunk too on top of it. Like Harry was drunk, so it was like.
But he thought he was saving the day. He was like, not my best friend.
Oh my god, it was so funny. Like, I'm gonna skip a lot of these parts that I have in here too. There was a part where they go to Hogwarts, and they were, and like the librarian thought that Hermione and Draco fucked in the library, and Draco's like, she keeps looking at my crotch.
At my bulge.
At my bulge. And he's like, and she's just like getting, so they're just having that whole banter about his bulge, and that was fucking hilarious.
I think during this time, he says something, she says something to the effect of like, we have bigger things to do. And he's like, excuse you.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah.
That shit was so funny. And then, of course, Theo's party with the love potion and laced in the champagne.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they're lacing. In almost every fan fiction, these drinks are laced. And it's fucking great because that's what I would do. Like, I wouldn't obviously tell people, like, hey, this is laced with this, the truth potion or the love potion.
As he did.
Yeah, they did. They all knew.
Yeah.
And it was fucking fantastic. That whole scene at Theo's party, I don't want to get into too much detail because we'll be here forever, but there's the part where Hermione sits on Draco's lap because, like, they're kind of, like, I don't want to say forcing, but they kind of, like, peer pressure Hermione into sitting on Draco's lap, and he's just all comfortable about it. And I was like, oh, that's swagger he has.
And then she asked him to, like, do you bite? And he's like, on request.
Yeah, I was like, thank you.
I know, like,
I love that. I love that. But yeah, that whole party from finish to end, or from finish to end.
From finish to end.
Yeah, I was finished.
It was great.
I was finished. See, I can't think straight when something like really gets into my like core. I can't.
That he bites on request.
Yeah, I was like that.
It threw her off too. She was like,
It doesn't take much, guys. I'm like, I get really flabbergasted when it comes to that shit. But yeah, so that whole, from beginning to end, that whole party scene. And then there's a makeout session near a window that had me shook.
I love that. Is a slow burn intimate scene.
Yes,
I love.
That had me shook. So like, I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but if you read it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't read it, I will not divulge any more information on that.
It's great. It is a slow, like,
yeah.
And then it doesn't go anywhere, and you're like,
I know. I'm so upset about that. Also, the part that it actually does go somewhere is in Spain.
Yes.
So, like, everything in Spain was great. It was like one of their adventures they went on, and they get into the room and it gets hot and heavy. Wonderful.
And can I just say, this is the first scene I've read, I think, of Smut where the girl is on top. Like, she was like up, and like he put her up there, but like still she was ready, willing, she was in it, she was doing it. I was like, good. Yeah,
I mean, this isn't my first girl on top smut scene. I read a couple actually recently, but
it's not common.
It's not common. It isn't common, and usually for females' pleasure, it's the guys. And like, obviously, we're reading it where the girls are being pleased; they are content with the end of the sexual scenes. But it's the female taking control that role, and like you said, he put her on top, but she was willing to go there.
There was something so hot about that.
Yeah,
because normally it is the like, the man is, I don't want to say in control, but he's like the
pleasuring.
Yeah, and
not
like
taking pleasure.
Exactly.
People take pleasure. It's the male pleasure.
But him putting her on, and then doing what he did, and then putting her back, I was like, yes.
That whole thing was wonderful. Like Spain itself, even right before. After, like, their whole event in Spain, and she constantly goes back to that. Was Spain like a dream, or was Spain like what? That can't be again. We can't do that again.
Because it was like a special holiday too, so they were like, well, it's blurred because this is the dead day or whatever the fuck.
I wafted out. I was like, nope, I'm gonna.
No, you did that.
Yeah, don't take that away from me, guys. Like, stop. And then there was. Oh, the opening ceremony scene for the hospital when Draco's mom is there. She was cracking me up. I loved his mom in this because there's this like kid that belongs to some family, a rich family, an honest rich family, and she thought he was poor, and she's like, get this kid away from me. He's gonna steal the sauce. He's trying to sell sausages and steal your money. Like, if you should tell Draco and Hermione, watch out for that little kid. No, I do not want your sausages. I was cracking up.
Yeah,
she was the epitome of like nose up in the air,
high society, like better than you. Yeah.
But I loved it.
Yeah, I did too.
She's not trying to be that anymore.
No,
but she doesn't know any other way.
Yes.
So she's constantly trying to mingle with people who are outside her class, and it becomes funny.
Yes.
It was so funny because she's trying, but she just doesn't know how.
Yeah.
And I put in here the library scene, so we know what that is, but I can't remember every detail. But the library scene where they're doing quid pro quo for like, just this for that, for their like teaching each other things. And that is such a like sexual tension scene for me. I don't think they complete
And for
anything.
Draco as well. No.
But I do love that is my favorite sexual tension scene.
Yes, me
besides
too.
the window.
The popping of the ink, or the exploding of the ink
Yes.
pot
Yes.
was marvelous.
It was fantastic.
Again, it's these sexual moments with humor undertones that I'm just obsessed with.
On top of them talking about like the secrets they have, like, because Draco's like, you lived in my house, you did this, you were practically me for one of our missions.
Mm-hmm.
What other secrets are there? And she's like, the whipped cream.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, I'm not talking about that. So I was like, obviously it's about sex, but
Yeah.
like she does tell her what the whipped cream's about later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be honest, the whipped cream thing when it first came out, like when the house elves brought it out for the first time, I was just like, that's a red flag, because like every girl who comes over to your house, the fucking house elves know to bring out cream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, how many times are you doing this?
I mean,
I like it and all, but like, I would be, I mean, I get it, and she knows that, but like, I would be like, dude, immediately?
I would also be grossed out.
First date? Like,
yeah.
you expecting this, like, first date, that you train the house elves to bring out, he
when
goes,
you bring any girl over.
yeah, and he's like, no, and but like, Draco,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
That wasn't great.
And she was like liking that though. Like, I wouldn't like that.
No.
Because like she was like the secret of the whipped cream, and it's like, girl, you know what that secret is. Like, that's obvious.
It's obvious, yeah.
So I didn't really like that. That could have not been. They could have been something else.
I
It didn't
agree.
have to be, because like it's obvious. And I didn't like that she was goading him into telling her, because like that's kind of like you're wanting to know what he did with other girls at that point. It's like,
when you already know. Like,
Yeah.
what else do you do with whipped cream
yeah,
when you bring random girls over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I agree. It was not the best.
Yeah, that sexual tension scene was.
Yeah, yes, it was. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all my favorite parts.
Great favorite parts.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of my favorite parts is, it's such a small part, but I don't know why it makes me giddy every time, when they are at the dinner at his house.
Yeah.
And he's like trying, I think it's when he's trying to get the elves to come over and like fill her pantries or whatever.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's like baiting her into some, I don't know, I don't remember, but all I know is that she goes to kick him and he anticipates it and he grabs her foot.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's so hot, but it was.
And he holds on to it.
And he holds on to it.
Yeah.
Just the fact that he like knows her well enough to like have been anticipating it and grabbed it and held it, like my heart skipped a beat.
And like he's like holding it. Like,
Yeah,
and,
like
I think caressing it.
by
yeah.
her ankle.
I was like,
It was
that's
so
sexy.
romantic.
Yeah, I was like,
It was so
that's
sexy. So I love that. I also absolutely love every scene where they're like apparating into each other, where he's apparating into the car upside down. Like, all of these are just perfection. When specifically, one of my favorite of these is when they're outside of Hogsmeade and he's like trying to look dashing.
Oh my god, he does it all the time.
Yeah, and he's like got his pose down and she apparates right on top of him and they both fall and they're bitching at each other. I love that. I think their banter in here is great. There's like a million quotes that I have, which I won't say, but the banter is exceptional.
I do love the banter. It's the only reason why the slow burn for me wasn't as bad as I felt it. Because like that slow burn was so bad, but that banter is the only reason why I kept going.
Yes, it was so good. I don't know why, but I love when he's jerking off in the shower. She scares him by banging on the door.
That is pretty good.
He's like, and
I
I also like get it for him because he, they just rescued her. Like, he's high on these fucking endorphins. He's in her shower. He's smelling it all.
Yeah.
He's like, I just gotta pull one out.
I do like that. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he was so ashamed by it too. Like, no one knows, but he's still like ashamed by just thinking about her shower. After
Yes.
Like, fucking Christ, her shower.
Yeah, it was great. And then another scene that I really like too. Again, I had said this in the beginning. I'll give more of a specific here, but the fact that he is still kept as the very ruthless murderer, because there's a scene when the guys actually capture Hermione and he goes and he rescues him, but he was like stabbing them. He stabbed one like I think in the eye. He stabs one in the eye, stabs him in the back, and then there's another one. He takes the wand and shoves it through his eye, pushes him down on the ground, and then steps on the back of his head so that the wand goes all the way through and touches the back of his foot. And this is just so hot because it's still the like ruthless, powerful, super adept fighter duelist that Draco is, still encapsulated in this like silly, funny version, but it was just like Draco, he's silly, he's aristocratic, he's too posh in this, but he is still a badass, he's still handling business.
And I love a guy who fits that like whole facade, that whole like demeanor. Like, he's a badass, but he's put together.
Yes.
And underneath this put togetherness, there's a ruthlessness of it. And the reason why he's so put together is because he's trying to not flip the fuck out.
Yes.
And I love that.
It's like such a calculated put together, like hanging there by a fucking string.
Yeah, and it just takes one little fucking thing. It's like, I love that. There's so
and he just lets a little bit out. Like, that was just a taste of like what he's capable of.
It's wonderful.
It was great. And to finally, to cap it off, the obsession with his hair. The obsession with his hair was great. Like, constantly like, my hair, don't touch my hair. When he's wrestling this fucking fawn in the swamp, and he's so upset that he got shit in his hair. He's bitching about it the whole time that he has to rescue this fucking deer. I love it. Just everything's great.
It's so funny.
List all of the mini scenes, but overall, the banter and the just him out of his element, dealing with that with the shenanigans of Hermione has just been great. I loved it.
It's definitely a good one. I pleasantly surprised at how good it was.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy you moved from a 2. I was like a 2.5.
It was like a 2.5, yeah. And I was like, oh, maybe a 3. I was like, nah, so definitely a solid 4. I would even say 4.5. The only reason why is that slow burn is so agonizing to me. It like rips my soul. I'm just like, oh, fucking stop. But that is the only, and I even put that in the no good parts, like in the not so good parts. I put that it is so slow. I really put it. It's overall fantastic. However, it could be a little boring because of the excruciatingly slow burn. That's what I put in there. But it was a fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you moved up. I'm happy that you liked it. It's a great book, great summer read. Highly recommend for everyone out there. And I think that wraps up our Hermione's for now.
Yeah, for now.
I'll have some on Krista. I have some now that I've proven myself in the Hermione realm. I have some other ones for us to read later, but we are actually going to jump in next week, starting into The Plague's Prisoner, which is like a 8
No,
book?
not next week. I think we got Masters of Death.
Oh, you're right, Masters of Death. Masters of Death I actually put specifically here for a very specific reason. So keep that in mind for everybody out there too, because I have a question to pose for you next week, and it has to do with this book and Masters of Death. So keep that in mind while you're reading Masters of Death.
Okay.
Just have this one in the back of your mind.
Ooh, interesting. I'm really interested now, because I'm not going to be reading it for a little bit, because I want to put in there. I'm a big fan of For Blood and Ash. Not everybody is, but one of her books are coming out that ends the sequel prequel. I'm in that right now. I'm like in deep into that book right now. But after our Masters of Death, we're going into
The Plague
Prisoner. Yeah. So I'm really interested to see how. They're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. Goldfinch comes out, so we will probably be reading it by the last book coming out. So like it will be completed the series by the time we're reading it.
Yeah, it comes out in August, like August 1st or something.
Yeah.
So
I'm really interested to see what the connection is between Masters of Death and the Mortifying Ordeal.
I am ready because I'm bubbling ready to talk to you about it, but I very specifically kept it a secret.
Okay.
So yes, if you're following along with us, keep this all in your mind, and of course, as we mentioned, the next book for next week will be Masters of Death by Olivia Blake, I think it is.
Yeah, something like that. I know last name's Blake.
Yeah. Yep. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode, and we will see you next time. Don't forget to
follow. Don't forget to follow us, like, subscribe, so that you can see what we're doing.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.